PUSE projects, under PUSE project to support the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport in Cambodia. And my currently main work right now that I work and support with we call the GPE COVID Response and Recovery Program that is gonna work with early childhood education department, primary school education department, and secondary education department to support remedial teaching and adaptive continuous learning. And besides that, I also work with other projects like USE SDP P2 to support the vocational orientation department to develop the career guidelines and industrial local partnership. And this time also work as a accreditation coordinator for a new generation school in Cambodia. And so before I start my presentations and my keynote linked to my topic today, I want to introduce a little bit to my backgrounds. So I'm graduate from the bachelor degrees in education, in teaching skill, and my master program in education in management and planning. And also recently I just finished my scholarship from the United States for educational administration, planning, and policy. That most of my study, I focus on the plannings and policy and school reform, and this is one of my interested to study. And prior my study in the US, I was operation managers for a new generation school that most of you have heard that it is one of the success program in Cambodia that implemented by CAPE. And I'm very happy to be a part of this project as well. And the project still continue, and I'm still happy to work with this project. So can I set to the screen now? Somebody see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you so much. So I think today, first of all, before I start my topic, I would say congratulations for all of you that we can make this day. So actually, I know that the Cambodian First International Mentoring Educator Program we planned since last year, and we don't expect that we return from the face-to-face or physical conference to virtual conference. So, but anyway, we still can, we still can do that. So I hope that, the COVID-19 will get away from us soon after we get a vaccine. And next year, we hope that we can, have the conference that face to face. And yes, and the topic that I want to share and discuss with all you today, what does the roles of school-based mentoring support the school governance? So maybe you have heard a lot about especially the keynote speaking this morning, mostly related to the research and also also the best practice that in other countries that they have been done with the mentoring program. I think maybe the mentoring, the key term mentoring, it sounds like quite new to Cambodia. So, to back then before, we simply don't heard this word much in the last few years ago. So mostly in the school level, we used to hear the word inspector, that in Khmer we call Atikarakaj. So let me tell you a little bit the stories of this, that why we come up with the mentoring program. So in 2016, when we implemented the new generations program in one of the primary school in Kampuchean, and one day we got a visit from the inspector from the POE, and he visited one of the primary school class. And after the class, he sit down with one of the teachers, and he asked about the lesson plan of the teachers. And then in that time, the teachers show him the lesson plan from her laptops. And then the POE and the inspector said, no, the work plan is not like that. The lesson plan should be written, handwritten. It's not. You cannot. The computer typing is not accepted. And luckily, the inspector, luckily in that time, the teacher, she didn't know the inspector is the deputy directors of the POA, and then she said, no, this is the new generation. And then with technologies, we can use a laptop to type and, to prepare the lesson plan easily. For example, if I want to do, she quote, I quote her direct speak, if we want to replace and to renew the user plan B, we still have the framework, we still have the template. Maybe we just replace the text and the objective, maybe more easy and save over time. So technology can help a lot. And it's kind of like argument for the million that the inspectors did not accept, because he wants the written lesson plan. So this is one of the example. This is one of example that I want to raise to you. So why we come up with the mentor, not inspector for the school, and we want to introduce the school-based mentoring, not inspector. So this is the case. And we also have the many cases. For example, we have the visit from inspector to visit one of the new generation school in Preliep and to visit the library. I know that some of you have heard about Preliep, and if you visit the library in Preliep, I don't think that you feel like the library in Cambodia could be in New York or someplace else. It's not the library in Cambodia. So the library it's very nice, modern, a lot of book. We have both, written book. We have the, e-book. We have a computer. We have the tablet, and we have the big screen of TV. That is kind of like holistic, tool for a student to research. And environment also very nice. And we have a full-time librarian, and they work a fantastic job. And then, the inspectors come and they come up with their, with their, how we say, like criteria, the criteria that they have been used for so many years and never updated. So they check that, they said the library is not meet the standard, and say, what kind of library is meet the standard? Because this library is big and full of book, cleaned, full of students to research, and we have both book and ICT. And then, it's kind of like, because the problem inspector, they just come with, the old criteria, and the criteria never update. And then, so something that not being told in the criteria or indicator, they assume that it's wrong. So this is the point that when we start up a new generation school, we just get away from that. Say, maybe the inspector strategy, it doesn't work in the school development, especially to helping the teachers. So that's why in 2016, so we NGS program, we set up one of the framework we call teacher support development system framework. So we changed the word from inspector to a mentor. So what is a mentor? So I think even now, like the word mentor is quite new to Cambodian society, and we don't hear this word so much. So a lot of people translate the word mentor. So finally, we accept that a mentor could be a Kru Ti Praksa and so on. And so mentor is not the person. It's not threatening, because if you read my abstract, that why we change from the word mentor, the word mentor, not inspector, because inspector, when they come to school, it sounds like threatening to the teacher. When the teachers and school principal, they heard the word inspector, they feel like police coming. It means the teacher feel not comfort. The teacher feel like people come and blaming, like they really got the blaming. Yeah, of course, I don't know, it's not the problem of the word itself, but the problem is the way the people implement it. So people just, the inspector, when they come to school, their role is to find the mistake. Yeah, of course, we can find a mistake in theory, but we have to find a resolution to support the teachers. But in contrast, in Cambodia, the inspector, when they visit the school, and they try to find the mistake and blaming, not solving the problem. So that's why the teachers, the principal, they feel threatening. So when they heard the word inspector, they feel afraid. They could be blaming again. So this is the cause. That's why. But the mentor is not the people who find the mistake. It's not the people who blaming. Mentor is the people who support. That in my slide, I would say like the mentor, there are two main points that's most important, that different from the inspector. So mentor support and technical support. So mentor support. The mentor is the people who can sit with the teachers, like to support emotionally. That the teacher when they sit down with mentor, they feel like they feel like just a brother. They feel just like friend. They feel just like colleagues that they can talk to. They can talk not only about the technical and the teaching methodology, but also the way that the teacher they feel safe to talk to. So by this way, mentor role is performed better than the inspector that we usually do in the normal public school. And we have the case in NGS, for example, NGS that we implemented a lot in the mentoring program, that we divided by subject, that the mentor work is a very nice job, that the teacher feels safe, the teacher feel they feel helpful when they meet with the mentor. So comparing to the inspector. Technical support. So I rest with the four main points of technical support, the roles of school-based mentor. So one thing is pedagogical support. So it means mentor will work with the teacher in the school with specific subject. So for example, like science, math, foreign language, mathematics, and also social science. That mentor is not, mentor is not, even they are not the master. It's not the master who know everything, but at least the mentor is the people who can support on time. So for example, and the teacher in the school, they have a problem with, teaching mathematics, applies in application level in Bloom taxonomy. So mentor will be supporting the teacher how to do it step by step, or could be a classroom observation to support teacher, because as you know that especially for novice teacher, the teacher who just graduated from the like NIE, for example, and other regional teacher training center. So he or she might be don't have enough experience. I would call novice experience to have the student. So classroom observation by the mentor is not about noting the mistakes from the teachers, but the mentor will be observe the classroom and find the thing that need to improve. I would say like improve points. So the mentor will work with the teachers. So findings, the thing that the teacher could not perform well during teachings, and then noting down and sit down together and find the resolutions. Or the mentor could be a role model. Okay, so after classroom observation, and the mentor will work and sit down with the teacher in by providing effective feedback. It's not the feedback to blaming, but the feedback that in a way that can improve the performance of the teacher for teaching later. And also the school-based mentor also have other job after in-service capacity development. So as you know that PLC is the key of the professional development in the after teacher career. So the mentor will be play as the main role to provide capacity building. For example, in the new pedagogical or teaching method to the new teachers, and also in the new ways of teaching and other special educational teaching to support the teacher. So this is the full scope of the technical support that the school-based mentor support to do in school level. So, and as this year is the first time that we implemented the school-based mentoring in Cambodia. So I think maybe next year could be appropriate time that we want to see how effective it is after we placing the school mentor. I just know that the school-based mentor, we just placed them for around 2 or 3 months right now. So, and in the feedback that I work with the team, that especially the team that they supervise and monitor with the mentor that we that they're placing. For example, most of them they are placing in new generation schools and also in the NIE, in the other educational institute in Battambang and Phnom Penh. It's quite like some places work where, for example, in new generation school, that the school-based mentor, they work very well on their performance. So this is the thing that I want to share today. I think maybe 10 minutes of my presentation is on time, and I'm happy that I want to put for 10 minutes for the participant to answer. So I'm happy to answer your question. So thank you so much for your attention to my presentation. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bunnath, for your meaningful presentation about the role of school-based mentoring support the school government. Okay, so actually we have a lot of questions, but according to the time limitation, I can choose only one question for you and another. We will try to answer, we will forward directly to you and you can answer to the participant. Okay, so the question comes from Dr. Gapo. Okay, sorry if I pronounce your word not correct. Okay, I just read it a lot. Government's visitor and mission is to provide the whole school system the right approach in giving the student the quality type of education that we have and support them in their pursuit for excellence. This can be realized when the student completed their college degree and started to find jobs. In his view, mentoring is very necessary for a teacher to provide their students the necessary learning system. This led to the necessity of the school-based mentoring to flourish. How the government has to support this initiative. My question is, has this mentoring initiative being conducted in Cambodia? If done, what are the results? Has this initiative being monitored to see if there is a gap? Please tell us many things. Okay, this is a question. Okay, you got it,
So
sir?
thank you so much. And I also read, thank you, Dr. Mala Gapo. I'm greeting from Cambodia. So yeah, so regarding to your question, as I mentioned that school-based mentor, we just first time to implement it in 2020. So we just placed the mentor about 3 months right now that they are working in the school. And as you know that you also during the COVID-19 and the school is not opening, full opening is right now, that also very challenges too for the mentor to work to support the teacher by this time. But now in the small scope, because we just produce around like 34 or 35 the first cohort this year. So I saw one of the participants, one of the alumni as well. So maybe she can maybe she can also help us to answer what is going on, what is the the job had been done so far after placing in the NIE. So I saw like Jan Phann, yeah, Jan Phann. She also one of the alumni too. So I would say like it's first time to implement in Cambodia. So we just started and officially. And the result is very hard to answer right now. As I mentioned, we just placed for around 2 or 3 months. And plus the school is not full opening. It's very hard for us to generate the result right now. But I think next year, maybe it's possible for us to, to answer this question. And then we will have like the report and also the assessment, and the data will come out. And then I might be officially can inform you how it affects you. But I can tell you with from our observation that we work with the school-based mentor right now. The school mentor right now is very well. And for example, like Pre-Engine that I saw that the school mentor, they work very well with the support with the teacher, training teachers, and also they play as a key person in the school after the, like just very similar to the white directors in the school, that they support the teacher in the pedagogies and also other, especially in the using the technologies in video recording and some stuff right now mentor helping a lot to the teacher. So this is the short runs that we can generate the outcome right now. But for the how the percentage, actual percentage and should clear data, I think maybe next year that we can generate the outcome. So I hope that we can keep tracks and I keep track and answer your questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bunnath. Thank you again for your meaningful presentation and also your answer about the question of Dr. Malagapo. Okay, and I hope so Doctor will get some concept of this answer. Okay, so now it's time for the next speaker. Maybe I would like to say thank you for Mr. Bunnath, and maybe we have to say goodbye now to move to the next speaker. Okay, thank you.
So thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah.